The Calamity Bloods are really showing their actual strength right now, as Selene manages to jump into the battlefield and actually make her presence known to give us some more dragon-on-dragon conflict. Loxus is given probably his, I want to say, biggest challenge right now at this point, with an interesting way of where his fight is going. And Wendy might be the key to saving the day, potentially. Chapter 213 of 100 Years Quest has a lot of stuff in it and a lot of double page spreads, and we're going to get into that in just a second. But before we do, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. Really helps me to show you guys enjoy the content I make here on the channel and shows you want to see more. We are almost at 50,000 subscribers. We're on our way there. We're almost at 39,000, just a little over 1,100 more, and we hit that 50K mark. A big milestone, and I really hope we can get that by the end of the year. So if you can, help subscribe, share the video, and get even more friends interested so we can keep talking Fairy Tail. And now, on to the chat. Chapter 213 of Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest, titled Fighting Dragons with Dragons. And the cover image is another of the twin dragons, Rogue. I like that back-to-back cover images are characters that tend to be related to each other in some way, and having Rogue right after Sting is really cool, and the fact that Rogue is engulfed in his shadow and is unsheathing his sword is really cool. Now, please, for one instance, just take a moment and watch him unsheath the blade, because he has never in the entire goddamn manga unsheathed his sword to the point where fans are making up their own random bullshit mystery theories. And what is more likely to happen? Nalu becoming official in the manga, or Rogue pulling his sword? Yes, we have reached that level of absurdity when it comes to a freaking sword. I think Mashima just wanted to make Rogue look cooler by giving him a katana and just never incorporated that into his fighting style whatsoever. It is wild, it's stupid, but it does make his look cool, but also it is the most useless swordsman in the universe since he never uses a sword. But now we get into the actual chapter, and we start off with another great two-page spread of Erza staring up at Mother Glare as she instantly realizes that this is one of the dragons that they could not defeat during the Grand Magic Games. I like that we're getting characters actually start to realize that these are the dragons that they failed to slay all those years ago, or I guess in terms of Erza's timeline, 2.5 years ago. And Mother Glare once more looking insanely menacing from just the sheer scale of it. Obviously the previous chapter, how it ended, Mother Glare looked a lot bigger, but perspective can shift sometimes if you want to have certain things and characters be seen proportionally. But Mother Glare then lays a bunch of eggs from her chest, and all of the mini dragon minions lunge at Erza in a massive barrage. Obviously, Mother Glare is planning on taking down Erza with numbers, wearing her down, so it's easier to just take her down. And that's really all we get from the Mother Glare fight at this moment. We then cut back to Anchor versus Gray and Juvia, and while we don't get any double page spreads for them right now, Anchor just unleashes a wave of water that washes away Gray and Juvia, as Gray is completely out of power right now, and Juvia is struggling at this moment, which shows that, again, we've known this for a while, human form, dragons in their human form are a lot weaker than they would be in their actual dragon form, because they're weakening themselves and compressing their strength. So Juvia, due to her way of controlling water, she could probably survive at least a little bit longer. But if Gray poured all of his energy into not only surviving previously, but giving that unison raid with Juvia in the last few chapters, then something's going to happen to give him back his power, or someone else is going to have to jump in and save them, because at this point, we really do need a good way for them to actually win, since they're neither of them are Dragon Slayers, and they don't have the Dragon Slayer seal on them. And they don't have Dragon Slayer armor like Erza. We then get some massive explosions as we cut back to Wendy and Lucy and Wed against Rock Build. Lucy and Wendy are dodging a bunch of rock attacks from Rock Build, and Wed is getting caught up in it. He's trying to say that he's on their side and he's Ignia's son, but all Rock Build says, basically what the entire fan base is saying about Wed for the most part, who cares? Who cares about you? Rock Build then lunges and just seemingly smashes down on Wed, and in that instance, we not only see Lucy and Wendy get pushed back, but their bodies begin to petrify and get covered and converted into stone. Rock Build goes on to say he doesn't care what Ignia thinks. He just went along with it so he'd get to eat humans again after 400 years. And we then get to see how the terrain is shaping around Lucy, Wed, and Wendy as they are slowly beginning to turn into stone. And Wed obviously got out of the way previously. He's now turning into stone. So this is a nice way to show more of an expansion on their abilities instead of them just being like rampaging dragons in the back during the Grand Magic games. But we finally get to see what's going on with Mira Jane as we cut back to her and Angel taking on Scissor Runner as he instantly turns into his dragon form. Now, whether he turned into his dragon form initially, I think he was just waiting around for like the queue. Maybe all the other fights happened right before Mira encountered Scissor Runner, and he just said, oh, I feel everyone else going into dragon form. I'm gonna just do this now. I guess we're not playing around anymore. And so now he's staring down at Mira and Angel. But then Richard and Elfman appear, and now it's time for them to fight them. And Mira says, this looks like it'll be harder than getting rid of demons. Boy, she doesn't know the half of it. Now, Elfman has an advantage here. If he can still access the takeover wood dragon arm that he did when he was encaptured by, Gaia and used Alderon's own, magic against Gaia. So, at least in this instance, for the right arm, Elfman does have an advantage. He does technically have dragon takeover magic to a degree. So, that could definitely affect Scissor Runner. To what degree? I got no damn clue. And we still need to see if demons can actually do shit against dragons because Mira has natural demon powers. And like one, now maybe two, artificially created demons from black magic with curse powers. So we have to see how that affects an actual dragon because we still have no idea where in the power hierarchy, like natural born demons like the Satan Soul takeovers that Mira has fall within the power hierarchy. Because legitimately, we have had no exploration of the demons that were not made by Zareth, or in this instance, Ferris also. So, again, this is why I kind of want a spin-off of Mira so we can explore this stuff more. But yeah, we cut away from that because this is our combatants against Scissor Runner, as we're now jumping directly into probably the fight that we all really want to see in this instance, and that's Loxus in his 1v1 against Levia. And what a way for us to jump right into that fight with Loxus just decking Levia across the face and pushing him back. And from that hit, Levia notices, oh, so you're a Dragon Slayer. And now this is something that we do get 100% confirmation because there was kind of a bit of a, I want to say, discussion around Loxus' Dragon Slayer magic. Because back all the way in the Doggermog arc, Loxus removed his Dragon Slayer Lacrima, the thing that made him a second generation Dragon Slayer. So we were all wondering, after he ate the raw magic power or the soul of the Thunder Dragon King, is Loxus technically still a Dragon Slayer? Or did he lose that power because he removed his Lacrima, for all we know? Now we have confirmation. Loxus might have lost the Lacrima, but Levia just confirmed that Loxus still has his Dragon Slayer magic, which means that most likely him consuming the Thunder Dragon King's soul / raw magic power, fully accumulated into his body since magic was matching and stuff like that. Maybe even a similar situation to Natsu and Ignia, perhaps? So Loxus is still 100% a Dragon Slayer. There is no more doubts at all, even though I wasn't really afraid that Loxus lost his Dragon Slayer powers, but still. That is an interesting thing to look into. But Loxus then tries to goad Levia into going Dragon Form, saying, what, you too scared to use your Dragon Form now that you know I'm a Dragon Slayer? But Levia just says, I'm the Life Jail Dragon, he who imprisons life. And Loxus hearing that is like, wait, what did he just say? As this instantly gets him on guard. And Levia then makes a hand motion, clenching both of his hands together, clasping them, saying, do you understand what that means? As rays of light erupt all around Loxus. And as we get to see, something is being drained from his very body. And Levia confirms that what he drained out of Loxus was his very soul, as he creates a magical cage keeping his soul within it, and Loxus' body slumps down to the ground. As Levia turns away, he says, I have no need to take my dragon form in order to kill humans. As he seems to have one-shot Loxus with that attack. Now then, this is already a very OP ability, but Loxus is definitely getting back up. But it's still a nice way to drive at least a tiny bit of tension, as Loxus' soul just disappeared. Now, one of two things is going to happen with Loxus. Either A, his soul has so much willpower that he's just gonna nope the soul imprisonment of Levia and break out of the jail to return to his body, like Escanor did in 7 Deadly Sins, where his soul was taken from his body, eaten by Melascula, and he's like, yeah, no, I'm just gonna burn right through you with the power of the sun and return to my body and scorch you to near ashes. I feel like that's going to be where we're going to go with Loxus, especially now that we're confirmed getting a actual weekly manga series with Loxus as the focus. That's going to be an entirely separate update video. I'll let you guys know about that for next week. So look forward to that. There's a lot of information I'm going to talk about. Or, like I mentioned earlier, with the Thunder Dragon King's quote-unquote soul and raw magic power that Loxus absorbed during the Doggermog arc, we might see a similar situation between Loxus and the Thunder Dragon King, like we saw with Natsu and Ignia. Because I really don't think Mashima is just going to end up presenting a one-and-done thing for the Ignia Natsu thing, and then having another character like Loxus who kind of has a similar situation that I kind of literally forgot about for a while now. That might end up happening. Perhaps Loxus' soul was drained, and now the Thunder Dragon King's soul is going to take over Loxus' body, maybe fight Leviah to free Loxus' soul, and maybe we have a similar situation, and Leviah helps Loxus truly understand and grasp the full extent of the power of the Thunder Dragon King, making him no longer the Lightning Dragon Slayer, but the Thunder Dragon Slayer. That would be an interesting thing to go about. I would much prefer that one, because it ties together why Mashima introduced the soul takeover thing previously with Ignia, as that's tying back into Loxus. Also, giving Loxus more hype moments before he gets a weekly manga is honestly a really cool thing to do. Now, as to why the Thunder Dragon King would, fight Leviah in Loxus' place and help free Loxus, who knows? That could be an entirely separate video for all we know. I don't think I have enough information to fill that into a separate video by itself. Either way, these are really the only two options I see unless a third party interrupts and frees Loxus' soul for him. Either Loxus breaks out of sheer willpower, or the Thunder Dragon King takes over his body and helps free his soul and gives Loxus a big power-up. Those are really the only two options I see happening. But now we cut back to Lucy and Wendy against Rockbuild, as Lucy is thrown to the ground as her body and Wendy's continuously begins to petrify. As Wendy calls out to Lucy, Lucy's trying to think of a way out of this, immediately going to water. If she just had some water, but the ground is already drying out. This instantly locks in that she wanted to summon Aquarius in this moment, and in order to counteract the petrification, for all we know, and potentially setting up that we are actually going to get the Mercphobia key unleashed, so we can actually have Mercphobia fighting another dragon, because, he has not fought another dragon in this manga, at all. So I do want to see that happen. But yeah, Wendy and Lucy are knocked away by Rockbuild, and Rockbuild is about to crush the two of them under his foot. And Lucy and Wendy, due to being petrified, are unable to do anything. But then, there's a glint of light above Rockbuild as the moon appears right above him in a flash. And you know what that means. The second the moon pops up and Rockbuild looks behind him, it cracks, and Selene, in her dragon form, slams Rockbuild right into the ground in a single easy push. And this causes a massive shockwave. And thanks to Selene stopping what looks like Rockbuild's petrification magic, Lucy and Wendy's petrification begins to become undone, but Selene looks down at Wendy and says that she's the only one who can save them because she's a high enchanter recognized by Irene. And that's where the chapter ends. Now this is interesting because, look, I have been championing for Wendy to be potentially the strongest character in the series for a while, or at least top 3 at some point in the future. She has the most potential out of any character in this series at this point, even more so than I would say Lucy. And the fact that Selene comes in to save the day, but says that the only one who could really save them right now is Wendy. What could she really mean by that besides, doing something with the dragons that are around? I'm not entirely sure, but the fact that she mentioned Irene and that she was recognized by Irene means that's something that Irene knows and entrusted to Wendy in terms of an enchantment spell could perhaps shift the tide of the battle. I'm not wholeheartedly sure what this could mean. You guys let me know in the comment section down below, because Wendy being the one to kind of save everybody gives her a big moment that she hasn't really had in a while. And while I would love her to have solo fights against dragons as a dragon slayer, I would like her to just come around and utilize her abilities to actually save the day, and perhaps even help set up for the Mercphobia summon for Lucy. Who knows? But all I know is that for the first time in a good while when it comes to this batch of chapters, the most recent batch of chapters and this arc, I am genuinely curious to see what's going to happen next. Because outside of the whole Natsu Fire Dragon King mode thing and the Ignia stuff, as well as the Ignia becoming stronger and absorbing Ferris, there wasn't too much grasping me in this arc. And now, that is slowly starting to change. But who knows, I could be entirely wrong, my faith could be entirely misplaced, and things could go down the drain right away. You gotta be prepared for those possibilities. But either way, I am excited, there's good setup, the dragon gods, and none of them, since becoming dragons, have been taken down in a single chapter afterwards, so let's see how these fights go on and progress going forward. But yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below on these matchups, how everyone will win, how do you think Loxus will get out of having his literal soul stolen from him, what do you think Wendy is going to do to quote-unquote save everybody, and what does Selene mean by this? And do you think within the next chapter or two we'll actually get Lucy using the Morphobia key and summoning Aquarius for a big combo spell? And with all that said and done, hope you all enjoyed the video, and I hope you all have an awesome day.